going on, guys? How y'all doing? Welcome to the video. Now, if you're starting this video, this is obviously a live stream. How y'all doing? Chat, what's going on? I love you guys. Hope you're having a good day. Just stop with the emails, man, okay? I've been getting constant... I made a little announcement about this over Twitter, and I'm like, I don't think this is true. I don't think it's going to happen. It would totally undermine Carrie's last performance, and just so many things that went into the sequels. It would be cool. I'd be down with it if they went and redid everything. That'd be awesome. But I don't think it's going to happen. But still, the emails keep pouring in. I gotta address this. My boy Tyrone Magnus has talked about this. Everyone's talking about this. So, okay, fine. Let's talk about it. I haven't once read a full article regarding this, but I figured we'd go right back to the original one, which I think is this one. And it's going to talk about everything that's going on regarding this rumor, or whatever it is. I asked some of my people that apparently have some inside sources here and there. You never know. They say that it's actually true, and but they don't think it's ever actually going to happen. But there is talks about it actually trying to happen. So, anyways. Wow, 3,000 in chat. What's going on, guys? Hope you're doing well. Okay, let's go ahead and read this article, and then I'm going to give my 2 cents on it because that's what y'all want. That's what I want too. Might as well get in on these views. Hey, everyone else is doing it. A new rumor has hit the net, offering that some sort of Disney Star Wars reset is in the works that will see Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Skywalker basically erased. The rumor comes from the future ruler of Earth, Doomcock Overlord DVD YouTube channel, who recently offered... By the way, if you haven't seen this guy's videos, man, they're super entertaining. They might be totally full of BS. They might be totally true. I don't know the validity at all, but I feel like I'm watching Power Rangers or something like that, and he's like Zordon or something. I don't know. Who recently offered that a Star Wars Civil War is happening at Lucasfilm between Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau. Doomcock also, what a sick name, dude. Doomcock also previously provided those Skywalker spoilers, and prior to Marvel Studios announcing a new director and writing team on the Captain Marvel sequel, said there were all kinds of problems at Marvel with Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. Okay, I don't care about this. Disney Star Wars trilogy getting nullified. Getting back to the rumor, Doomcock says that plans are in place to save the Star Wars franchise, which involves the Abrams and Rian Johnson trilogy getting nullified. It's claimed the Disney Star Wars trilogy will be erased using a concept that was recently made canon in the Star Wars Rebels animated series. What world? World Between Worlds? In the Season 4, Episode 13 installment titled A World Between Worlds, the concept of the veil of the... I knew they're going to... If there was any way out of this, it was time travel, man. The concept of the veil of the Force was introduced, a mystical dimension of the Force that connects all time and space, explains Doomcock. I have received confirmation from 2 additional sources claiming that this is spot on, that indeed Lucasfilm realizes they have a massive problem on their hands, that the Star Wars franchise is all but dead, and despite Kathleen Kennedy's hatred of this idea, Lucasfilm is preparing to render the sequel trilogy null and void. Okay. It's said that the events from The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Skywalker will be removed from canon, isolated in their own alternate timeline, and regarded as an Elseworlds-like installment under the label of Star Wars Legends. What? So it's gonna be like an alternate universe kind of thing, like how Thanos had like a million different universes, different realms for his own. Like the multiverse? Is this the multiverse where there's like a pig Spider-Man? So what Doomcock is explaining. It sounds stupid. It does sound stupid. This would never. I don't think this will ever happen, dude. If it does, hey, dude, I am all for it, But how are we gonna get Carrie back? We can't. She unfortunately is gone. But if you do think of it as them maybe remaking it, I don't know if they just want to like make it Legends so that they appease some people, or like, or go and redo the whole thing. Like, are they make her CGI? Are they going to incorporate her at all? Are they even going to redo this whole thing? They could get Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford back. That'd be cool. Are they going to make, like, a complete different multiverse kind of thing going on? So what Doomcock is explaining is that a Star Wars multiverse will be created, which will isolate the Disney Star Wars trilogy as being a part of a separate universe that is not a part of George Lucas's original... Okay, but how are they going to do... Like, story-wise, how does this make sense? Massive Star Wars reset incoming. Doomcock continues by noting the details that can't be verified, but says there may be proof it's happening in The Rise of Skywalker. What? It's further noted that the plans are not set in place, as again Kathleen Kennedy is said to hate the idea and is said to be doing everything she can to crush it. As if the plan comes to pass, everything that Kathleen Kennedy did with the sequel trilogy will be destroyed, tossed out and declared obsolete. Doomcock feels that the plan will happen. A massive reset is going to hit the Star Wars universe, he says. Okay, how? How does this make sense in the story? Like, they've written it in the books, in the canon books now, that Exegol was always a thing. Palpatine was talking to, like... They even went back and kind of rewrote the Return of the Jedi and said that Palpatine tried to get Luke to strike him down because he wanted him to live on in his body. That he was just trying to do that thing. Okay, Emperor Palpatine... Here we go. They should explain. Emperor Palpatine had a room on the second Death Star called the Room of Mirrors. So what, like the hidden room in Episode 9? The mirrors were created by the Emperor prior to the Death Star through the dark side using ancient Sith rituals. These mirrors linked to the Veil of the Force served many purposes. Using them, Palpatine could manipulate the Force in many ways to further his aims. For example, the use of the mirrors allowed Palpatine to cloud the Jedi Council, to conceal himself and his dark apprentices from the Jedi, and from Force sensitives that followed their fall. Okay. But there was also a Sith temple that was built underneath the Jedi Temple, which clouded all of their judgment. So, how does this... What is this? The Veil of the Force? Mirrors linked to the Veil of the Force. Using the mirrors allowed Palpatine to access the awesome powers of the Veil of the Force. They were indispensable tools that allowed him to raise to the pinnacle of ultimate power. It is this conceit that explains how Palpatine survived Darth Vader throwing him down the shaft in the throne room of the Death Star. In desperation, as he fell, Palpatine opened a portal to the Veil in the Force, the Veil of the Force, and entered. Okay, that's actually explained in... Yeah, that's actually explained in the novel, the Episode 9 novel. So he actually, his essence was like, poof, it was gone beyond, before he even hit the ground. Before he went splat. Before we saw that blue explosion, apparently in the book it explains that his essence was already on Exegol at that point. In desperation as he fell, Palpatine opened a portal to the Veil of the Force and entered it. This explains why Palpatine is in such a damaged state in The Rise of Skywalker, as transporting himself into the Veil without the aid of the mirrors drained him and damaged him severely. Okay, so what, he didn't have a GPS navigator or something, and he didn't have the mirrors to do it, so he had to do it on his own, and that... Okay, alright. Doomcock goes on to explain that the Emperor created a second set of mirrors on Exegol. Okay, so this is like a teleportation device, so it's like a door, it's like a door. On Exegol that allowed him to... So it's like the world between worlds, literally. On Exegol that allowed him to escape, where he plotted the rise of the Empire. Regarding how things will be reset, it's explained that all one has to do to go into the Veil of Mirrors and wait for Palpatine to enter, as the Veil is a mystical dimension wherein all times collide. Regarding how things will be reset, it's explained that all one has to do is go into the Veil of Mirrors and wait for Palpatine to enter. So we're going to need a disciple to go into the Veil of Mirrors. I see. So they're going to do the same thing that Ezra did with Ahsoka, but now it's just someone's going to do it with Palpatine. So as he's falling, you're just going to, yoink him? Yoink him out, and he's going to be fine. A mystical dimension where in all times collide, which will cause the Disney Star Wars trilogy to consign to its own alternate timeline forever, as Palpatine enters the Veil and never gets back to Exegol. Oh. Interesting. Okay, so let me see here. So an original theme... Okay, so this is kind of a mind bend. So it's a mind F for sure. Gotta keep it censored. So Ahsoka died by Vader, let's say. Ezra goes in there, saves her, pulls her out. So that timeline is alternate, where Ahsoka died. Just like Avengers Endgame, it's an alternate timeline. I hate these alternate timeline things. They're so annoying. That's why, that's the only reason I didn't like Endgame. I don't like time travel. It's just, it's stupid. Wow, geez, 5,500 of you. Cool. No, 53. I lied. Liar. Yeah. Okay, let's try to debunk this. It's an interesting theory, man. But it's not going to happen. A mystical dimension wherein all times collide, which will cause the Disney Star Wars trilogy consigned to its own alternate timeline forever as Palpatine enters the Veil and never gets back to Exegol. The Emperor is prevented from using the mirrors to return. He dies as he was intended to in Return of the Jedi. And Bob's your uncle. And all our problems are solved. Oh, Bob, like Luke Skywalker, explains Doomcock. So since the Emperor never survives, that means the events from Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Skywalker never come to pass in George Lucas' timeline. No Disney sequel trilogy. Han doesn't walk stupidly into a lightsaber. Leia doesn't fly like Mary Poppins through space. Luke has nothing to run away from and consumes no green milk. And I am informed that there will be no Amazing Wonder Rey as she was born after the Emperor's death. Aha! Here we go. Here is the fallacy and all this, like crack in the armor. Rey would never be born after the Emperor's... Oh, right. Okay, no. There will be no Amazing Wonder Rey, as she was born after the Emperor's death, because Rey was born from the Emperor's clone, who was his son. He was useless and he had no force powers. It wasn't his son, he was just his clone. Okay, so then she'll never be born, says Doomcock, who notes the particulars are still getting worked on, but that the plan will retcon the sequel trilogy out of our misery and restore freedom to the George Lucas galaxy. I don't see this happening, dude. It's a cool idea. If it happened, that'd be interesting because, not that the sequels were bad, but yeah, they were bad. Like, they were executed really poorly. Episode 7 started out really cool. I really liked it. It had good potential. It was going to go in a cool place. And then, of course, it's like 8 took us that way, and then 9 took us somewhere else, and you're just like, where am I? I don't know. You pretty much feel like Palpatine at the end of it all. You're just like, how did I get here? Yeah, what up? Right, yeah. Doomcock has yet to be wrong. Yeah, I don't know much about this Doomcock guy, man. But I just know his videos are interesting. That mask is super cool. Proof of Star Wars reset. Doomcock offers proof that this may be happening in a scene that was included in Rise of Skywalker, which featured Rey confronting her dark side self, where mirrors can be seen in the background. It's said it's unknown if Abrams knew what the scene was about, but it demonstrates the plausibility of this rumor. The scene features broken mirrors, where one mirror is still intact, which the dark side Rey emerges from. I have to go back and rewatch that scene. Well, my friends, this is your glimpse into the veil of the Force, explains Doomcock. Literally anything is possible here as branching alternate realities converge and diverge in that mystical dimension. What is glimpsed in those mirrors is an alternate version of Rey, and lurking within the veil are alternate versions of Palpatine, alternate versions of Luke, alternate versions of Han. Somewhere in the multiverse may even lie a version of the Disney sequels that didn't suck and didn't outrage and alienate a huge section of the Star Wars fandom. But for now, the best we can hope for is using the veil of the Force to obliterate the Disney sequels, banishing them to their own little funhouse mirror in the vast hall of mirrors, multiverse, to be forgotten as the substandard garbage they are. Hey, man. He's talking truth, dude. Sequels were messed up. Like, they just didn't make sense. None of it made sense, you know? What am I gonna say here, you know? The theory could make sense, man. It could actually happen. That makes sense to me. If there's a mirror in there that isn't broken, which Dark Rey comes from, and all the other ones are broken, that could be something. But dude, like, do you know how hard it would be to explain that? Like, how would you explain that? You release a deleted scene or something, or you make a scene, or I don't know. You hear so many things and you don't know what to think about it. I mean, I'm all for it, but realistically, how? I don't see this happening, man. They've done so many spin-off books and lore and everything like that, canon lore now. I just like, that would be the biggest slap in the face on, like, so many people that worked on this and wrote stuff. I just don't see how that would fly, man. But at the same time, I'm down for it. What can I say? I'm down for it. they're not that bad. Teach their own, bro. Like, it's an interesting theory. At the end of the day, I don't think this will ever happen. I think they're just, as I said, go look at my Twitter, man. Let's just move on and hope Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni get full control. That's really it. I think they are the ones to take Star Wars to the next level and to take it to, Dave Filoni said something really interesting in the behind the scenes, the Mando gallery, the Disney gallery, whatever it was on Disney Plus with the Mandalorian. He said, dude, why am I like a Force ghost? I'm like invisible. I'm dying. Weird. What's up with my green screen? Whatever. Dave Filoni said something that was really interesting. I might actually make a video on it because it was pretty cool. It was really profound as well. Again, lest I get called out again for not understanding thematic whatever bullshit. So he said I'm going to paraphrase super, super poorly. He basically said you can't just like pick and choose, parts of Star Wars and like refer to them in the new movies and be like, oh yeah, here you go. See, we get it. It's so much more than that. And there's a certain cadence and a certain feel to Star Wars, which is, the George Lucas Star Wars, which he refers to. And I thought that was really cool is that, that's what Star Wars really is. That's what he understands it. And that's why everything that he touches is so successful with fans because, he gets it, man. Like, that's at the end of the day, that's what it is. So, I really hope that they're going to be taking the reins here. We got some super chats. We can talk about some stuff. I want to read chat, see what you guys are talking about. I've talked for 16 minutes. Jesus. Oh, God. Okay, I love Star Wars. Can I be a moderator, please? Sorry, Krenny. No, I love Star Wars too. Charlie, yeah, what's your take? What's up, brother? What's up, Charlie? Handless Mace Windu, they probably get this info from Mike Zero, whatever his name is, but I doubt they would do this. I doubt they would do this too, but it's an interesting theory for sure. Parth, midichlorians and the wheels created a new reality because they didn't like the story after Vader. Okay. Oh, they don't have that thing up yet. I was going to say, like, let's do a poll. If you want them to retcon that, we all know the answer to that. Hey, dude, how's it going? And I hope you're having a good day. Thanks, Vanguard. I hope you're having a good day, too. Let it stay to be a reminder of what doesn't work. I think it'll always be a reminder. It's fake. They aren't going to throw aside. If Luke did the lightsaber, all that work and everything they have created. That's true. I feel like 9 just went and... You know what I'd be down with if they went and they remade 9. So take 9, make it 8, give us like a little bit of backstory on like what happened to Snoke or I don't know, even just conjoin those scenes in there somehow, and then make a whole new 9. Bro, the thing that confuses me the most is if Luke can grab a lightsaber, he can use the Force to lift a real object in the real world, not in the netherworld. What the heck is the difference between that and being alive? Is he like a ghost that's stuck to the island? No, because that's what happens to Sith. They're like stuck to, particularly an object or a place like Bane on Korriban. So it's like, that's not really a Jedi thing. Like when you die, you can float around wherever you want. If they remake it, let's hope it's 2D animated. Disney needs to recoup millions because of virus. Ah, that's interesting. Right, so Disneyland is down. Everything is down pretty much. So if they do this, they would have an excuse to remake it. And then, I mean, they made money, right? They made billions. So why not do it again? And then this time they appease a different side of the fandom. So it's kind of like you can have your cake and eat it too, which I never understood that expression. Why would you have a cake and not be able to eat it? It doesn't make sense, right? On a scale of 1 to unlimited power, how much do you think this is real? Like a 1. I think there's talks about it within the companies for sure, but it actually coming to fruition, I think is not going to happen. But hey, if I'm wrong, great, dude. Chances they do this are like 0%. Also, don't you agree Anakin should have versed Kylo in 7? No, Anakin shouldn't. Anakin's dead. But it would have been cool if his ghost showed up. Sith mirrors. Now that's some BS. Yes, Sith mirrors. Oh, shit. Corona. I actually don't feel good. Yellow Saber Rey series of her finding the portal. Okay, Yellow Saber Rey series of her finding the portal. That'd be cool. Maybe she'll go back and like go to the prequels. Imagine her in Revenge of the Sith. There's also a plan to remodel Star Wars Galaxy's Edge because of how much KK changed it. It was supposed to be more like Mos Eisley Cantina. That would have been the coolest thing. Dude, I don't know why they didn't. I'm sure people have had my idea a million times over. You know, like the thing where you have different planets on Galaxy's Edge. So one is Hoth, it's cold, it's snowing. You got to buy like the cool merch, like cool jackets and stuff. The next one is Mustafar, it's hot, it's warm. So if you ever did the Void at Disneyland, downtown Disney, I had a fan meet up there. I think it was last year of January, right? And it was cool. There were like 50 of you that showed up or something like that. I picked a handful of you, and I took you all to the Void, and we did the Vader experience. It was awesome. It was good times. In there, when you step out on Mustafar, they have these heat. I don't know. You get blasted with heat, with hot air, basically. And you could have that same thing on a Mustafar planet. So it would literally be the same design, and then there you'd have popsicles and ice cream and cool drinks and things like that, and merch, for Moose. Like they could have really killed it. Watto's Junk Shop, like go there, you can make some cool droids. Like, oh man, there's just so much stuff. I'm not saying Galaxy's Edge is crap, because I've been to it and it's very entertaining, it's very fun, but it feels like you take Star Wars elements and you put it into a place that you have never seen before, and it's only about the last 5 years, not the last 40 years of history, right? It's like, why you do this? Star Wars Endgame, I'm down for that. That'd be cool. That'd be sweet. I'd love to live in an alternate universe where George didn't sell Lucasfilm. Me too. To hell with the sequel trilogy, just make the Thrawn trilogy in CGI and call it a day. That'd be cool. Video game bosses are an outdated concept. It's true, they are. Michael, thank you for the 5. My biggest fear with the hard reset is that it will end up becoming Tuesday. What? Ken, the article seems too mean and unprofessional in its content to be true. I'd be down for the retcon, but just seems a bit fishy. Yeah, so the article is, I think, a direct excerpt from, or actually not even an excerpt, it's direct verbatim for what this YouTube channel called Doomcock said. So, yeah. What if they use the Mando to do this? It's possible. How would you propose they do that? Hey, brother, long time, your fan from Hawaii. Cool, man. Just wanted to say, with the Snyder Cut getting ready to show the multiverse in the upcoming Flash movie, retconning and giving franchises proper visions is in fact feasible. I think studios are starting to see how lucrative it can be to kind of, you already made you're literally double dipping. You made your money once. Make another multiverse, same characters, different story. Profit again. Why not? Okay, you win, we win. I mean, why not? I don't love the movies, but companies are going to retcon their own work. They could use the world between worlds to change things in future films. Yeah. The Third Man 3. Yeah. I think the world between worlds is definitely a loophole into anything we want to happen, really. I mean, you can go in and you can change the prequels, you can change the originals, you can change the sequels, you can do anything you want at this point. I mean, Ezra literally pulled Ahsoka out of the, what the heck? Brandon Daniels, a new member. Thanks, man. We're finishing up the season finale. It's almost done now. I got it open on the screen here, and it's looking alive. It looks good. Disney built rides around these movies. Rumor, in my opinion. That's true. Disney did build rides around these movies. Imagine if everything's retconned, like what Galaxy's Edge just doesn't exist. Like, that wouldn't fly unless they destroy it and then remake stuff. Recut 8, redo 9. 100%. Darth Revan. Brandon Daniel. What if Mace Windu went to Mustafar instead of Obi-Wan? Well, Mace was dead. But if he was alive, then that'd be interesting, actually. Yeah. Anakin was in the dark side, so he would have just Mace would have used Vapod on him, and Vapod was his ability to. It was like a variant of Form 7, which is what Darth Maul used as well to fight. And basically, it's this variant where you tap into the person's dark side as well as your own dark side, and you kind of use it like a faucet, and it just spews back onto them. So it's like this unending energy that just constantly goes until they lose. It's pretty cool. Pretty overpowered, though. Even if this is true, I don't see how they would get Ford or Hamill back. Also kind of feel like it's a slap in the face to the Fisher's legacy. 100% agree, man. It definitely would be. And that's why I'd have an issue with it. I remember rumors like this with the prequels, too. They were hated back in the day, too. Love or hate prequels or sequels, what's done is done. Yeah, I agree, man. It's done, as I said in my Twitter post like a few days ago, let's just move forwards. And, man, it sucks that it ended up like this, but whatever, dude. Let's just move forwards. We got the Mando. Jon Favreau is very, very into Star Wars now. And not that he's into the story, but he's like on the projects. And we got Dave Filoni doing live action. It's going to be good. He got episode 9 right in detail, even unused endings. And within the mirrors of the multiverse and the MCU, Marvel Star Wars crossover will come. Yeah, well, they're all owned by the same company now, so you're going to have to restart. I missed it, lol. And within the mirrors of the multiverse. A comment on the video said it best. It would be great if they do retcon the sequels, but we're not getting a second chance at it with the OT actors. That's the scary part. That's the part that's sad, actually. This is dumb, but what if Luke faded into his realm on a quest to kill Palps? But that's why he is only half dead and can touch things. I don't know, man. Yeah. No. Maybe. That'd be interesting, though, if they do something like that. I just don't understand how being dead and being alive is the same thing and has the same powers. If not, you're more powerful when you're dead. Which I guess is what Obi-Wan said, but why not just kill yourself then? Planets from different eras, everyone's happy. It would have been cool if Rey turned evil and Finn had to stop her, with Rey still being perfect and seem unstoppable, and it would make Finn a Jedi. Finn was the most underused character. He was the coolest character. He had the best potential. A stormtrooper that becomes a Jedi? Come on. What if Mace Windu went to Mustafar? In my opinion, we should move on from the sequel trilogy rather than retcon. Could be damaging to new fans. I don't like the sequel trilogy, but this is not the way. I agree. A lot of new fans love the sequel trilogy, and it's what brought them into Star Wars, and it would really hurt them if that happened. But at the same time, it really hurt us original, like, more OG fans, because of the story. I would love to see you face off against channel in regards to who knows more about Star Wars. Chris, if you don't know the answer, then anyways, thanks for the $5. Greetings from London. If Disney were to retcon all of this, do you think they'd put it under a Legends label or simply ignore it all and move on? I think they'd move on. I really do. Don't you? I really don't think this is going to happen. 7 had false potential. It seems that way because it was open-ended. It was an open-ended mess that didn't advance the story. Look up Why Disney Star Wars Failed by Don Lasagna. They should have been a Star Wars land. They could have made a lot of money, and the fans would have been happy as well. Missed opportunity, shake my head. I agree. If Force Ghost Luke can catch a saber, then why could not Force Ghost Anakin versus Kylo in Episode 7? Sequels should have had Anakin train Kylo too. I agree with that. They were actually going to put Anakin in there as a dark side and light side ghost. So their philosophy behind that was that if you cast a candle, you got the light of the candle, but then you also have the shadow of it too. The world between worlds made my jaw drop when Ezra saved Ahsoka from Vader. It was very cool. It was a really revolutionary idea. Hey Theory, and also like a very OP idea too. And then Palpatine trying to like capture them, and like he obviously knows it exists. Hey Theory, how's your day? It's going well, bro. How's you? While we're retconning stories, can we make Finn a Jedi like how they originally teased? I hated the bait and switch in The Force Awakens. Yeah, they do a lot of bait and switch though. Mace Windu isn't dead. Jedi survive bigger falls. It's true. It's what he always said. Hey, that's why I'm making a fan film about him. What if Thrawn comes back to lead Remnant in Mando? Thrawn coming back in Mando, then you'd have to do something for him not being in the sequels. This will be extremely awkward as I work for Oga as a custodian in Batu. Huge fan, love your channel. If you ever visit WW Galaxy's Edge, I'll say hi. Cool, man. Yeah, apparently the border's going to be closed. They just announced for possibly another year. The U.S. and Canada border. They just announced that, I think, today. I don't know. I saw the Prime Minister talking about it. So experts say or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. I looked up that expression because I didn't get it either. The meaning is you can't eat your cake and keep it too. Oh, I see. Oh. Do you think Disney will make Clone Wars Season 8? I think Lucasfilm will. Maybe. Or they'll make some sort of variant. Like a sequel. Should Duel of the Fates be made replaced for 9? Yeah, that'd be cool. But I mean, Carrie's not around. So what are we going to do? Seriously baffles me how Kathleen Kennedy... Seriously baffles me no Kathleen Kennedy is not gone. Replace her with John or Dave. It should have been done long ago. We know this. Disney must. Look, Kathleen Kennedy has been revolutionary in a lot of films. You know, a lot of the films that our parents grew up with. You know, E.T., Indiana Jones, Jaws, I think it was, Jurassic Park, or maybe not Jaws. Jurassic Park. So many things, behind the scenes. She's worked with George and Steven Spielberg. But when it comes to handling Lucasfilm, I think she isn't the right one for the job. So, perhaps Luke can only interact with objects in places ludicrously strong with the light side of the Force, but he can still travel around the galaxy. Oh, that's an interesting thought. I like that theory. That's cool. Yeah, like Mustafar was super dark with the dark side. Super strong with the dark side. Okay, yeah. They should have kept Snoke as the villain, to be honest. Yeah, and he should have been Plagueis. That would have been sweet. Tuesday, meaning it will become an everyday occurrence, I would say. Instead of thinking a way out of the situation or the consequences of actions taken in the previous episode, they just hit the reset button. I agree with that. Yeah, that's stupid. That's the dark side of doing this whole thing. Mando, Ahsoka, and Baby Yoda can save Star Wars. And Rex. And Boba. What about that kid at the end of The Last Jedi? Yeah, let's just try to forget about him. Multiverse time travel is toxic to any sci-fi series. Just look what happened to Trek. Clone Wars is tainted for having introduced it. It's very dangerous. I don't trust them. It's dangerous putting them together. Episode 8, same intro, but after the saber handoff, make like a new force... Make a have a force vision of what was. How could now create an alternate future from episode 8 and 9? Oh, he could now create an alternate future? Yeah, what if he sidestepped into some other world? It's possible too. Multiverse time travel is very toxic. I do believe that is true. Unless it's Back to the Future. I think that's really the only time you can do it. But even then, it's not so much... Well, no, it is multiverse. If you go back to Biffland, Hell Valley. Who says the fans have to go with what Disney says is canon? I mean, there are so many stories. What's keeping you from deciding what is canon to you? Right, so for me, I don't believe the sequels. They're just legends to me now. And I tried for a really long time. I was like, okay, cool. But you know what? I don't have to. And Sam Witwer helped me realize that with his tweet one day where he was like, you know what? You can choose what you want to believe and what you don't. So, yeah, that for me works. Or he said something like that. How many Bothans have died to bring us this information? More than you know. Do you think if George still owned Star Wars, The Mandalorian would have been made? I think the Underworld show would have been made, which took a lot of inspiration and gave it to the Mando. What did I miss? Are they actually retconning it? It's the rumor, man, but I doubt it. Hello there. Anakin should have spoken to Kylo instead of Han and handed him the dice from episode 8. I agree with that. No. Han Solo speaking to Kylo was really, really nice, but Anakin could have shown up in some different instance and been like, look, this is not the way. I love the sequels. I'm embarrassed by this. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, bro, so it's okay. What about that kid at the end of the Broom Boys? Yeah, I don't know, man. I think he's long gone. Riboto says Galaxy's Edge should have had stuff from all films. It not having is a huge mistake. That's like saying can't have past princesses because of the new ones. Boom! 100%! Imagine that. Disneyland being like, yeah, you know what? We can't have Cinderella. We can't have Snow White. We can't have... Who the hell else? I don't know. We can't have them all. Because we only can have room for Frozen now. I'm a simp for Star Wars theory. Thank you, Colton. I would love them to acknowledge Mara Jade. Like, maybe she did have a relationship with Luke, but something happened to her. Yeah, maybe one day they will. But, man, I can't see her wanting to be with him after Jake Skywalker, right? If you could bring any Star Wars Vader comic story to the big screen, which one would it be? Mine would definitely be the Dark Horse comics. Mine would be the Dark Horse comics, too. But I really like the Charles Soule ones, where he goes to Mustafar and kind of just makes his crystal bleed and all that stuff. But Dark Horse was probably the coolest. I'd say Ninth Assassin was cool, just because of that weird vision he has with those weirdos, the priests or whatever they are. And then what was the other one? The Lost something, where he goes to the Jedi Temple, and there's like the Emperor's dying, and he has to save the Emperor or something. I think that was the same one, right? The Lost Command or something. I don't know. But they were great. I have a really bad feeling about this, says Brandon. Here's an idea. Rey's now Sidious after killing him, and the mirrors are needed to defeat her because we have no other Jedi to defeat her. If you could bring any Star Wars Vader... Oh, we did that one. Kudos. Pretty interesting theory. Sequels. Good stories told badly. Nothimreal. 100% agree. Kathleen has had an impact in some classics. She tried, but Star Wars isn't for her. She should honor this and step down for Joe and Dave, in my opinion. Or John and Dave. Yeah. Is Moff Gideon top guy or work for Thrawn? Thrawn is still alive as far as we know. I'm curious to see who's running the Imperial remnant. Always seems to be someone pulling the strings. Palps? Well, Palps is always around, I guess. Unless this legend stuff comes true. So if it's not Palps, then it could be Thrawn. There was a contingency plan, so, the First Order was created when Palpatine died, and it was his First Order after he died. So, honestly, as much as the sequels suck, it definitely has streamlined everything. Before, in the expanded universe and what is now Legends, there was so much information, it was a lot to digest. True. But I liked Legends more. I've been rewriting episodes 7 and 9. I would love for you to read. This could open up even worse possibilities. For instance, Broom Kid travels through time to become Palpatine. Yeah, I'm still afraid what they will make after the Episode 9 sequel. Oh, you're still afraid they'll make an Episode 9 sequel? No, I think now that they know, what we like and what we don't like, it could be okay. Could be all right. What am I saying? Maybe, hopefully. Depends who's in charge. It really just comes down to that. That's all it comes down to. Not related, but Thrawn is one of my fave characters. It's cool, Luke. Yo, chat, who's your favorite character? Sorry, but the spamming, by the way, just getting you that money, bro. Love the channel. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it, man. I never understood why Anakin never spoke to Kylo. Me neither. It doesn't make sense. It's like they don't want him in there. I don't know. It almost seems like they're really trying to push away and trying to go into their own thing, but who knows, man? I wish we would have got more of the Knights of Ren. So underwhelming. I think that could have made the sequels more interesting. Here's what made the sequels more interesting. Look, I'm not saying Rian Johnson is a bad filmmaker. Obviously, he's very successful, and dude, he's like an A-list director. Would you say a B-list director? I mean, he's made Star Wars. He's made some great movies, but I just don't think the Skywalker saga was for him. That's all I'm saying. I thought Last Jedi was a really good movie. I just don't think it was a Star Wars movie. That's all. How come this week's Rule of Two was set to private? I missed the live stream. Yeah, there were some technical difficulties, man. I wish we'd have gone through. Gotten more Knights of the Old. Yeah. So Knights of Ren were really prominent in Duel of the Fates script with Colin Trevorrow. If they do multiverse travel, they could make Legends part of canon. Yeah. What would you want to see, though? You guys like Malgus? Malgus is cool. If they wreck on the sequels, then they wasted the time and talent of so many great actors that helped put the saga together. Carrie Fisher, Peter Mayhew, and those still around. That's true. All of them. Yeah, that would be sad. So that's probably the only reason I would say no to this. But if they do it, you know, other than that reason, then yeah, okay. If they could do it in some way where they honor them, then fine. But I think the best way to do that is to just leave it where it is and move on, and you know, make some real different content. Theory: the sequels were visions. The sequels were visions given to Sidious while falling before porting to show his plan will fail, so he accepts his fate. Sequels never happen. That would be pretty interesting. One film, Rey, Finn, Poe, suicide mission to kill Palpatine before he can regain control to cancel everything out. All die but Rey creates what if TV shows about Clone Wars but Republic win. Boy loss. That's actually kind of interesting. Jeez, I missed some super chats here. Started watching Poldark in the lockdown over here in the UK, and Aidan Turner seems like he might fit Revan if they can't get Keanu. Your thoughts? He also played Killy in the Hobbit trilogy, if you've seen those movies. I have seen those movies. Yeah, I'd still like Keanu. I think he'd be pretty cool. But I'm a Keanu fan, so... Well, this just makes it worse. Someone will sabotage the project if it were to happen. You think? What they should also do is a KOTOR movie with Keanu as Darth Revan. Money and asses in seats. It's true. It would. But so would a Vader film. Like between episode 3 and 4 with Hayden Christensen. I love Kylo, but feel like they could have done so much more. The more powerful with the dark side, the quicker it ages him. Imagine him with a beard. That's true. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, but it wouldn't age him in like just a span of a few years. I mean, look at Palpatine. Like he was, what, 120 in episode 9? And I think he was like 88 in Return of the Jedi or something like that. Star Wars timeline spans thousands of years. Just let bygones be bygones and do better in canon. Old Republic. Lore, canon Darth Bane saga would be dope. I agree. Yeah, just leave it where it is and let's just move on. If it happens, it's insulting to the people who grew up with these films. It's theirs. It's like they get rid of the prequels because people don't like them. I can appreciate that and I can understand it, but also you have to realize this was made by a company that isn't the original creator of this, right? So it's like, I don't know, how do I put this? I don't know. It's like Audi bought Lamborghini. You know, it's not Lamborghini anymore. It's Audi now. They own everything. But no, that's a bad example. It's like you have someone that is I don't know, dude. George made it, man. Like what do you want me to say? George made it, and now Disney's making it, and it just doesn't have the same taste. That's really all it comes down to. I'd like to see a different threat other than the Empire 2.0. Yeah, definitely. I don't want to see Starkiller Base, another planet killer. One film, Ray Pin, Faux Suicide Mission. Oh, yeah, right. I'm trying to get into the expanded universe. You have any good suggestions? You can read the Thrawn books from the 90s. That'll start you off. Like, surely Anakin... I'm still going through them. Like, surely Anakin wouldn't want Kylo to make the same mistakes as him. I would love for sequels to be in a separate timeline. It'll make... It's like a little prayer. The sequels would have been more interesting if they used Thrawn instead of Snoke. I disagree. I think, well, yeah, okay, Thrawn would have been cool, but maybe if Thrawn controlled like some Force sensitives or something, some bad guys. Palps came back when Hulk snapped his fingers in Endgame. Do you think they should make Heir to the Empire Thrawn books into... Yeah, they should, because I think it would be awesome. Yeah, I think it would be cool. Interesting that FO and Remnant exist same time. Rey survives and stuck in the mirror thing to play. She's just stuck in there. Happy Canada Day, man. If this were to happen, Disney might put more emphasis on the legends, stories, and the efforts of those who contributed to that universe. Keep up the good work, man. Thank you, Mikey. I make videos of Anakin's Force Ghost interacting with these characters almost as deleted scenes to make up for it. I've seen some really good edits of deleted scenes and stuff like that for the final battle in Episode 9, and they're really good. Aiden Vaught, thank you. Scott says, what do you think about Rian Johnson getting his own trilogy? I think his own trilogy would be fine as long as he stays away from Jedi and he stays away from anything that we know about Star Wars. He just recreates something entirely new. Like, don't use anything to do with Star Wars. Just make your own thing. I think he'd do a fantastic job. We need Anakin Vader content. We do. Opinion on High Republic, no Sith, boring time. Yeah, I think the High Republic is I can't. It's hard for me to judge and just jump on this wagon and be like, this sucks, that sucks, blah blah blah. But yeah, High Republic looks lame to me. Just off the get go, it looks boring. Like, why? Like we were this close. We were on the verge of greatness. Like, why not Old Republic? I really liked 7, but sadly 8 and 9 was a director fight with them going, no, that's not Star Wars. This is Star Wars. Actually, no, I think this is Star Wars, and you're all wrong. Personally, I just want justice for the first 6. Yeah, that's true. I just think of 1 to 6 as canon in my head, and that's the Luke Skywalker that I really appreciate. And the rest I just don't believe, and that's my opinion, right? It may not be yours, and that doesn't mean we have to hate each other or any animosity has to occur. It just means that that's what helps me sleep at night. When I was a kid, I really looked up to Luke, and I just don't think he would run away and be a little pansy. Feels good to say that. Anakin Vader saves Padme in the World Between Worlds and ruins Palp's plan and ultimately erases everything after Revenge of the Sith, the ultimate prequel revenge. No offense, it makes no sense to do a Vader film with Hayden unless the scenes were flashbacks. You don't pay actors to hide behind masks like Mando. I disagree, because there would be so many times when obviously you would have someone who isn't Hayden in the suit playing the most of it, and then whenever he takes his suit off or his helmet off, let's say he's having like a panic attack or something, and he's freaking out because he just misses Padme, or he realizes like his life has become this. Like, this could pick up literally hours after Revenge of the Sith. So when we saw that jump in Revenge of the Sith where Vader's looking out to the Death Star that's being built with Sidious, that was a time jump. That was actually a massive time jump, apparently. So, George Lucas should have made the whole Skywalker saga, unless George directing, or at least heavily. Dude, the fans, the haters are the ones responsible for George selling this thing. Let's not forget. It is their fault for it. Have you not seen his cadence? It's not his cadence. Have you not seen his attitude? When he gave Mark Hamill, I think it was Mark Hamill, the star on Hollywood Boulevard, or he was there to talk about it. People were like, oh, like, talk more about Star Wars. He literally just left the stand. Go look at that interview on YouTube. You can find it. It's not an interview, that footage on YouTube. He literally leaves and he says, no, I'm done. He doesn't even say anything. Doesn't even like wait there. Like, no, I'm done. Oh, guys, you want it? He's like, no, I'm done. Like, he turns around and walks away as people are like mid excitement. He's like, F no, I'm never going back. So, he said it a million times that people wanted him to do Star Wars the way they wanted him to do it, and he said that he didn't have fun doing that. So, and I can totally relate, man. Like, it sucks when people are always like telling you this or telling you that, or just, bickering at anything that you do. And you can see it with every single franchise out there with everything, right? Like, everyone's going to have this preconceived notion that they know exactly how something should be. But the problem with that is you have to be careful who you're saying that stuff to, because if you're saying it to the creator of that thing, then you can't say anything, right? If George Lucas came out and he made The Last Jedi, there's nothing I could say. It's his story, man. Like, if it's his story, like, there's nothing anyone could say. But because it wasn't, and because it's so astronomically far from his story, then a lot of people definitely have the right to criticize it and be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is not right. Love your work, man. I'm rewriting episode 9. I don't like episode 8, but I enjoy the challenge to write the movie. Could I send you when finished? David, with all due respect, probably not, man. I got way too much going on, and I probably just wouldn't read it. And I don't even know if I would see it in my inbox, because unless something is like spammed a million times by like you guys sending this this article thing, and then me seeing it around everywhere on the internet, then I'm not going to. I'm actually going to hire someone to take all my emails from now on, because it's just too much. And I'd like to get back to people, but yeah, to have someone like filter everything, that would be good. George Lucas would have made the whole Skywalker saga unless George directing, or at least heavily influencing the new sequel trilogy, is a waste of time. Yeah, I agree. Did you finally watch Star Wars Rebels, all 4 seasons? Nope. I didn't, but I will get on it. How do you feel about an animated movie or show that follows Luke after Episode 6? Animation may help with Mark Hamill's younger likeness than CGI. Yeah, I mean, they could get Sebastian Stan. I'd be down with that. Do you believe Luke's story is consistent after Episode 7? No. Dude, look at Luke's face when the lightsaber is handed to him in Episode 7. How he acts is completely different to what we see in Episode 8. He was so moved and emotional. He was tearing up. And then all of a sudden, he takes it in Episode 8, and he's just, like, disinterested. What? You can tell it was 2 different writers. Star Wars Theory, I was part of a fan... Well, $50, thank you, man. I was part of a fan project to fill in dubs to deleted scenes of Order 66. Could you react and or share it? I voice Kiadi Mundi. Love your channel. That's cool, man. What's it called? I probably won't react to it. Unless... Yeah, probably won't. You believe Luke's story is consistent after Episode 7? No, we just did that. 30 years from now, sequels will be viewed in the same lens as Wookiee Christmas. Maybe. Title Stalker. Yeah, well, depends what it's called and what it's about. I've gotten a lot of requests to react to stuff, and sometimes I'll watch it and I'll be like... So I'm not saying that about you, but you can understand from my point of view. Like, there's, you know... I don't know if I trust Rian Johnson with even a Salacious B. Crumb now. Well, but honestly, if he does, yes, just as long as he stays away from what we know. Yeah, totally agreed. Nothing real. Nothing real. I want to see a Plagueis movie. That would be sweet. I agree. Young Palps would be cool. Nigel Redpath, what up, brother? Sorry I'm late, lol. Runs in gray robes flapping. Disney crossover. Rey becomes Mirror in Snow White. Jesus. Yo, how come you privated your Zoom call stream? Can you please make it public? Because I really want to rewatch it. It was a good stream. Please repost it. We had some technical difficulties with it, so it's deleted. As far as I'm concerned, episodes 1 to 6 along, but we'll do more, man. We'll do more. As far as I'm concerned, episodes 1 to 6, along with the Lucas storyboards Disney brought, are the true canon. I just hope we get those one day. As far as I'm concerned, episode 1 to 6, along with Lucas story. Yeah, I agree. I think they should make a Padme movie. What about you? Yeah, it'd be cool. I mean, the books were pretty sweet. What criticisms do you have of George Lucas? He's a visionary, but perhaps not the dialogue guy. Kennedy is good, but the sequels didn't handle... Dude, I love George Lucas. I love what he made and created. I got nothing to say. Sure, the prequels were a little bit clunky with dialogue, but that's what makes the prequels. And when I was a kid, he always said that Star Wars was supposed to be a space drama. It's literally a soap opera. And it is. Look at the dialogue. The People versus George Lucas. Hello. Oh, right. Yeah. If you guys have ever seen a documentary called The People versus George Lucas, you will see why he sold Star Wars. The amount of abuse that man got is just... This is why the situation is the situation today. Weren't elements of The Last Jedi based off George's original story ideas, especially Luke? I still wanted him to do sequels, but that is worth considering. Absolutely not. What elements? That it was Mark Hamill? What? Where'd you see that, Scape Nation? I'd be interested to know more about it. Can we just think of the sequel trilogy as just an optional epilogue? 1 to 6 is the main story. It's done. The sequels are a choice. If the sequels get erased from canon, Ben Swallow gets erased from canon. All jokes aside, I personally really enjoy the sequels. I'm hoping Disney plans out their next trilogy in the Old Republic era. Me too. I hope they do plan it out in the Old Republic era. And I'm glad you enjoy the sequels, man. The sequels are fun, but I consider them mediocre fan fiction with a budget. Just give a trilogy to Dave Filoni. He'll fix everything. I think so too. I think Jon Favreau and Dave. Jon knows how to make movies. Dave knows how to do story for Star Wars. He obviously knows Star Wars lore better than Jon, but I think Jon knows how to shoot live action better because he's more experienced with it. It's not to say that Dave won't, but he just doesn't have this experience yet. The sequels could have been interesting if it focused on Anakin's resurrection and the true balance of the Force. How would you view that, because Star Wars is Anakin's story? I don't think there should have been an Anakin's resurrection. I think he could have shown up as a Force ghost, and that would have been good enough. So, him resurrecting wouldn't make sense, but it does undermine his legacy a little bit, I feel like. I know that, the prophecy isn't the same, throughout all of time, but is that C. Groot? I haven't seen you in years, man. What the hell? The Last of Us 2 was a giant turd. Total disrespect to previous characters. I am Groot. What up, man? I haven't seen you forever. The Last of Us 2 was garbage. I hated that game. And The Last of Us 1 was a masterpiece. I played, I think it was like 20 hours of it. I streamed on the gaming channel, and it was, oh God, it was terrible. I was like, why would you do this? Different opinions, all Star Wars fans. Love you, man. I agree with that. I agree with that, Caleb. Theory is the GOAT. Thanks, man. That's nice of you. It is called Clone Wars Order 66, made by YouTuber Dexter. It won't let me post the link. Okay, yeah, I guess YouTube doesn't let you post links because of spam. Or, like, because you could put something weird, right? Yeah, well, hey, cool. 2 more trilogies. I'll be sure to check it out. 2 more trilogies. High Republic era after Episode 9. Also 2 anime series about after Order 66, Jedi Purge, and Rebels. Also Mandalorian. You know what I really would have loved to see? I would have loved to see Anakin in the Jedi Temple. I think that would be pretty cool. And pretty sweet. Right? Or maybe someone's point of view in the Jedi Temple. We haven't seen that before. Do you think Disney Lucas ignores us? Do you think Disney Lucas What the hell is Disney Lucas? Do you think Disney Lucas ignores us? You mean Disney Lucasfilm? That doesn't exist. Do you think Disney ignores us? Our fan group? Are we wasting our time? I got some interesting things to say about that, and yeah, no, I think they're very privy to everything that goes on about their IP. Everything that people say. I don't think they ignore it. I think they take all of it into account. But whether they choose to act upon it or use it is up to them, right? If you go to the YouTube channel Yesterworld, he's documented to what lengths Disney will go to make money in all avenues, including their theme parks. I'll check that out. Scape Nation, Last Jedi, George Lucas influence. Den of Geek.com movies star. Oh, he did post a link. Interesting. I didn't know you could post links. That's cool. Last Jedi, George Lucas influence. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's like an article. Like, where's the? I'd have to read it, I guess. Disney should turn Lucas sequels into Legends books. Disney should turn Lucas sequels, Lucasfilm sequels into Legends books. Yeah, well, that's what the talk is. That's what this video is about. What are your thoughts on Thor Skywalker's sequel rewrites? I don't watch other YouTubers, guys. I really don't. And that's not coming from like I don't watch other. I don't have time. Like, I'm doing so much other stuff. I have like 7 channels. I'm trying to write episode 2 and 3, and I keep like write something, and I'll keep just like ripping it up and just tossing it out. That's kind of how it goes. So, going crazy here. What are your thoughts? Yeah. And also, I don't watch his videos. I don't watch. I've seen his videos. I don't watch. The only Star Wars YouTubers that I like are the Lore Master and Star Wars HQ. Those are my boys. The Lore Master is probably my favorite Star Wars channel of all time. Everyone else, in my opinion, is, yeah, whatever. Been watching and loving your content for a while now, but keep pretty low-key with commenting for whatever reason. Oh, thanks, Nick. Just want to say thank you for how candidly you speak, especially in these streams. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. And I appreciate the 15, man. From Australia? It's a beautiful place. I'd love to go there one day. The Clone Wars is my favorite part of Star Wars. Love Anakin's, Captain Rex's, and Commander Cody's heroisms and antagonists like the Banking Clan, the Trade Federation, and Hondo. Yeah. Those were the prequels, man. Those were the glory days. Those were cool characters. Do you know if George has said anything about the new saga, whether he likes it or not? There are some rumors. I get a lot of stuff, right? I get a lot of people like messaging me, being like, "Oh, like I'm on the inside, blah blah blah." Half of them, or maybe 90% of them, I just think is BS. But there are some of them who have been over the years pretty loyal, and I'm pretty sure they're legit. From what I've heard, he's not into it at all. But I mean, you don't even have to hear that from me. You can see it in interviews and stuff like that when he talks about them, all the time, where he's just like, he'll completely dismiss anything that anyone says about them. They'll be like, "Oh, what do you think about the new Star Wars movies?" He's like, "Well, I just did a video on this a little while ago. It was like a week ago. We watched a stream, and it was within the stream that I opened up another video of an interview with him on some set for some other movie that he was part of called Magic or Spell or something." And the interviewer asked him, "What do you think about the new Star Wars movies?" And he's like, "Well, when I sold it to them, I wrote them a story for what I wanted the sequels to be. They threw that away and they did their own thing." And then he stopped talking about it, and that was it. So that tells me all I need to know. Plus the things I hear in the background that, you have to kind of, they fly and you gotta sort of believe them or not believe them, and you never know what to think. It's the internet, man. You never know. Do you know if George is right? Dave Filoni, most controversial part of The Last Jedi came from George Lucas, comicyears.com. Okay. If Disney retcons, will they restore Legends? And Scape Nation, thank you for the donos, man. I appreciate that. I'll have to check that out later. If Disney retcons, will they restore Legends EU to canon? Has there been talk of that? I don't know. I don't even know if this is going to happen. I don't think this is going to happen. I think it's being talked about within the companies, but I don't think it's actually going to happen. Watch Lego Windu Returns. Oh, it did. I saw that, man. It's cool. He did a really good job. Well, you did a really good job. Yeah. Yeah. But as far as this goes, that's the end of the super chats. And I just want to say, as far as this goes, I think this is probably a bullshit rumor. Okay, I can't say bullshit rumor because I don't know. But I don't think this will be executed. I don't think this will actually happen. There would be immense turmoil. More turmoil probably within the company than there is now regarding this stuff. Wow, I'm going through puberty. And it just doesn't seem like something that they'd go through with doing, man. And at the very, very, very least, if all else, is successful and they're going to go through with it, it would really undermine Carrie Fisher and Peter Mayhew's last performances. And that, for me, is a no-go. Regardless of how I feel, that would be terrible. That would suck. Unless they somehow have extra footage or they can, bring them in from deleted scenes or I don't know, and apply it to some new stuff, then okay, like they did with episode 9. But still, it's I feel weird about that stuff, But anyways, I doubt this is going to happen. Help us, Dave Filoni, your only hope. Definitely. Well, I love you guys. This video went on, I thought this would be a 10-minute, 15-minute video, an hour and 3 minutes. I love talking to you guys. Of course, thank you so much for the super chats. Really appreciate it. Before I leave, I would like to also read some regular chat questions because I always like to get through the super chat ones first. For obvious reasons, you guys would cut my head off if I paid me and I didn't answer. Powder says we are peasants. No, you're not. Can you make a lightsaber ranking video? Sure. I got here right when it ended. What happened? Oh, you can rewind, man. Love these streams. Keep them coming. You're wrong. If you finish The Last of Us 2, it was a masterpiece. People only hate it because Joel died. Joel is not a hero. People can die in seconds. And the way Ellie has everything and lost it is a great story. It has. See, you're assuming why I don't like it. It has nothing to do with Joel dying. Vader died. Does that mean I think Star Wars sucks? No. The story didn't have to go. Yeah, I've talked enough about The Last of Us 2 on the gaming channel. I'm not going to go into it here. You're on. Thank you, Kadek. Appreciate it, man. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Do gaming channel members get to see Once Upon a Theory early? Yeah. So if you're a member on any one of my channels, Harry Potter, game, whatever, you get all the same perks. What's my favorite trilogy? Probably the originals. But my favorite movie out of them is probably Revenge of the Sith. What if George Lucas wanted the sequels to be bad to punish the original trilogy fans for trashing them? The prequels, fun little thought. Yeah, but he had no input. If they used his ideas and it sucked, then yeah, we could say that, but they didn't. All right, guys, I think that's it. I love you all. Thank you so much for hanging out. See you in tomorrow's video, and I'm gonna try to get some more fan fictions out for you. Also, check out my channel called Fantasy Theory. I rebranded my Marvel channel as that, so now I get to cover like everything: Lord of the Rings, Matrix, The Witcher, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, everything like that. So it'll be like one video a week, just on my downtime. And yeah, also Fast Facts channel is pretty poppin'. I like that one a lot. Okay, love you all. Catch you guys later. May the force be with you. Thanks for tuning in for an hour and 6 minutes.